Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa Ulrich here again. Thanks so much for joining me for the continuation of my 12-part series comparing dwarf seahorses with larger seahorses. If you've missed the previous videos and would like to go back and view them, for your convenience I've linked them below this video. Today in part 10 we're going to be talking about my observations with seahorse water quality in comparison between large and dwarf seahorses. Starting with larger seahorses, one of the things that I've noticed is that it is much easier to maintain very good water quality with fewer water changes with the larger seahorses. That means I can get readings on my measurements that are in good range for large seahorses for minimal work. However, that said, I feel that the larger seahorses in general are less forgiving with imperfect conditions. By that, I mean that they seem to get sick very easily, even when all the measurements are coming back very good. So they seem to be more sensitive into things that are not easy to measure, like buildup of organic waste that needs to be removed from protein skimmers. Talking about dwarf seahorses, one of the things that I found was very challenging was to find a good balance between appropriate food density with maintaining good water quality. I always wanted to make sure that the dwarfs were well fed and that they had food density that would allow them to eat and continue to be healthy with the right amount of food. But of course, the more food you put in the tank, the harder it is to keep a good balance of water quality. And I always found that part to be a little bit tricky, and I never could get the water quality with dwarfs to be at the levels that are recommended for seahorses. That said, I felt like dwarf seahorses were much more forgiving with imperfect conditions. So even though temperatures were ranging from 76 to 80 degrees, which was way too high for them, they had some measurable nitrites, which is not good for fish at all, let alone seahorses, and then higher than desirable levels of nitrates. Dwarf seahorses continue to carry on and act normal with their socializing and eating. So as far as work goes, the larger seahorse water quality is much easier to maintain, but you might be spending more time trying to troubleshoot any problems that you come across while caring for them. Whereas dwarf seahorses, the water quality I find much harder to maintain in good conditions, but again, the dwarf seahorses don't seem as impacted by that. So this might be an important consideration if you're still debating whether to make a purchase of large seahorses or dwarf seahorses. If you're finding this information useful, be sure to hit the like button and make a comment. If you would like to be notified when part 11 of the series is available, please hit the subscribe button for Cowfish Pro and make sure notifications are turned on your device. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in part 11.